Hello and welcome to episode 1064 of The Sleeper and the Bust. It is Friday, June 10th. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined this morning by Justin Mason. Justin, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I got the number and the date right.
There you go.
Didn't even struggle.
That is like the start of a good day when you know what day it is, what episode number you're on. Yeah, it's a good start. I don't know that I'm feeling as locked in as you, but I'm glad someone's going to carry the show.
Is it because you're recovering from what Garrett Cole did to fantasy teams last night?
Or what the opposing softball team did to
your
my
body.
softball team, and my body.
And your
last
body,
night.
Yeah. You're back out on the field. We were talking about that for the first time in a while. You had to play the field a bit more, and so your body's like, whoa, we have not done that for a long time, my man. What are you up to?
Yeah. 3 years off is a long time to not be doing activities like that, and then trying to go full bore. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm paying for it today, but I'll survive.
You'll be walking gingerly, but let's talk some baseball. Maybe cheer you up a little bit, get your mind off of the soreness. We're gonna do guess their SP ranking using the player rater like we did on Tuesday. I'm gonna give you the starting pitcher. You're gonna try to guess where they are amongst starting pitchers, and then we'll talk about them. Some might be some surprises high or some surprises low, depending on where you think they might be. And we'll see what your thoughts are on these pitchers going forward, too. A lot of interesting guys as far as some who have been struggling, some who have been great, some who have been in between. But let's start with a little bit of news. Chris Sale is going to return as a reliever. How do you feel about this? Do you think it'll be long-term? Do you think it'll be as the closer, multi-inning relief? Would you be regretting holding Sale, getting this news if you've held him for 2+ months? What did you think when you saw Sale to return as a reliever initially?
Well, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So
there you go. I'm breaking the news to you.
And you have return as SP in.
Oh, I did put as SP. Yeah, my brain defaults to my fault. So you weren't prepared to.
I think if he, is going to return and only be like a 3-inning guy, then I think you want him to return as a reliever. Because as a 3-inning guy, he's not going to get wins. So is it disappointing? Sure. But this Boston team's not going anywhere. I think they probably want to be careful with him and not risk injuring.
Wait. Before you go too much further, I don't buy them at all. But they're 30-28 now on a big streak. I mean, their win streak.
But 30-28 is fourth in the division.
I fully grant that. But they have a wild card spot right now. It's all three AL East teams. Listen, I was dogging them out all year last year. They made me look foolish. I am back on the dogging them out train because I just don't believe their pitching, and I don't think Sale can fix it, even if he comes back and he's Chris Sale, capital letters. But I'd be remiss if I didn't at least mention that they do hold a wild card spot right now, and they have an amazing offense. So I just want to push back on not going anywhere. They could be going somewhere, especially.
I stand by it.
Fair enough.
Not going anywhere.
Fair enough.
And I think, Chris Sale's future is more important than whatever mediocre push they would try to make for the playoffs this year anyway. So, I think they will stretch him out. I think at some point he will be a starter and probably be at least a 5-inning guy. But yeah, I mean, if for right now, if he's gonna, follow somebody in that rotation, that might not be bad necessarily for his fantasy value. I've been holding him. Do I regret holding him? No, not really. Do I regret drafting him? Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get behind drafting him. I just didn't want to have that stash necessarily, but we'll see how it goes when.
Well, I didn't draft him as a stash.
You picked him up.
I drafted him before the injury.
Oh, okay. So you were dealt this hand later.
Yes, gotcha, yes. This was
that does change the outlook.
If I when in drafts where I knew he was injured, I did not touch him. No,
who leaves the rotation for him? Is it just Whitlock? When Sale comes back, or should they piggyback? Should it be a Whitlock Sale lefty?
Yeah, I think
combo.
I think it should be a piggyback of and I think by the time Sale is stretched out long enough to be a starter, another shoe will have dropped. I mean,
Probably. I mean, you got
you've
Rich
got
Hill,
aging Rich
Eovaldi.
Hill. Yeah, you've
Mhm.
got Eovaldi, who last start was, like huge
Was way
velo
down.
drop.
Yep. But I will say, not but also he doesn't have two like fully healthy seasons in a row ever. He's never had back to back
Yeah.
30 plus starts. So we'll see if I'm pulling for Evaldi. I've been a long time fan, but also Pavetta has effectiveness issues at times, and Waka's had health issues. So, like you said, another shoe could drop. They might also want to start protecting Whitlock's innings because he only had 73 last year. And so, how far are they going to push him anyway? Also, he is dealing with a hip issue lately, which might explain some of the volatility with Whitlock, including a 0 strikeout game 2 starts ago. So they're in flux overall. I get your general point about them not being anything special. I also happen to agree there, but I just would have been remiss or attacked by Boston fans if I didn't acknowledge that they are at least playing well lately.
I mean, they could also be a team that sells at the deadline, and in that scenario, both Waka and Rich Hill, if they're still healthy and producing, could be on the move. So
True. So things will
yeah,
open up, if sales
things
good
will
enough,
work itself out. Yeah,
and they'll make a spot for him no matter. So it'd be at the cost
absolutely.
of somebody for sure. Shane Baz returning this weekend from having the what was it, loose bodies removed in his elbow. He did go 4 1/3 with 10 strikeouts in his last outing. It was 79 pitches. I think he's going to be another 80 or lower, or 80 pitch type guy at the max. So I'm not as excited. This is one where I want to be wrong, but I just can't get there. I just really think he's going to be 4 or 5 inning guy getting 80 pitches max pretty consistently. So I'm not that geeked about Baz returning from a fantasy standpoint. What do you think about? He should be back Saturday against the Twins or this weekend at some point.
Yeah, my biggest fear was he was gonna be a reliever or not be able to go deep enough in games to get wins if he was a starter. I'm surprised he even went 4 1/3.
Yeah.
In the minor leagues in this rehab start. That's a good sign, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they didn't just stop him at 4. They, they're letting him go a little bit. But I tend to agree with you. I just don't see any scenarios in which he throws 100 pitches in a start this year. I think it would be just better if he was a follower. I don't know.
It's like a babied Drew Rasmussen. Like Rasmussen is kind of an 80 to 90 pitch guy because that's the way they see him. Baz will be that, but with restrictions because they're worried about getting him hurt. Now, he did build up. He went from 24 to 47 to 56 to 79 pitches, but I don't think he's going to build from there. I don't think he goes from 79 to 90. I think he really lives in that 80 to 90 range for Baz and probably won't even start pushing 90 until a few starts into the season. Again, if I'm wrong, that'd be great. I want to see Baz pop off. I was really excited about him coming into the season until the injury. But once the injury happened, I really felt like they're going to slow it down and kind of take it easy with him. And I still feel that way. So I'm not dying. I mean, if he's available, you go pick him up because he should be on a roster. But I don't know that you're getting like a league winner here or anything. Sticking with the Rays, Andrew Kittredge is having elbow surgery. In fact, he's getting loose bodies removed. I think it's pretty similar to what Baz just had. Who's going to close for them? You picking up anybody specific, or is it going to be a total free-for-all now with the Rays closing situation?
I mean, it feels like it's going to be a free-for-all. I mean, that's what it's kind of been anyways, in their history. And then really this year, I think Jason Adam will get a shot. I think Colin Poche will get a shot. I think Brooks Raley will get saves.
So you got Poche and Raley are the two lefties. Adam is a righty. So is Matt Whistler. Kittredge was the A guy. Like I said, they usually have like an A guy, but then other guys mix in. So even when Kittredge, he leads the team with 5 saves, you got Ryan Thompson, we should mention him too, has 3 saves. Poche, Raley also have 3, and Adam has 2. Jason Adam, former prospect, top 10 prospect for KC. Looks really good this year. 25 innings with a .72 ERA, .64 whip, 30 Ks against 8 walks in those 25 innings for Adam. They have lefties to where they don't have to avoid Poche or Raley because they could just go to the other earlier in the game. But if you're looking for that righty with the strikeout stuff, I think Adam is a good spec. I went for Poche in our Maine last week for
Mhm.
$7 just as a stash, and now that stash feels a bit better.
Yeah. I mean, I think, especially if your saves desperate or, like and I think in our main, like there's like 8 of us who are within like 3 or 4 saves of each other. Like, getting a guy who is a closer could be like just a huge coup in a league like that. And I'm in a bunch of leagues like that. So I think that's
Me too.
probably pretty common. So yeah, I don't mind taking dart throws at guys like that. It's just going to be so frustrating. I mean,
Probably, yeah.
Jeff Smith might get 6 saves. And if you're wondering who
That's not
Jeff
a
Smith,
person.
yeah, if you're wondering who Jeff Smith is, I just made him up.
But I agree. He is in
Yeah.
line. I am looking at
So,
picking him up.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I hate diving into these situations.
I feel you, but all are available. Poche, Adam, Rayleigh, Whistler, Thompson. Who would you go for this week? Would you go for
Adam,
off
I
the
think.
radar? Okay, you go for Adam. He'll probably be the most expensive, but not. I don't think he'll be crazy expensive unless he gets 2 saves this weekend.
No, yeah. I mean, if anybody gets 2 saves this weekend, that'll drive
They'll
up the
go
price.
crazy. But other than that,
yeah, more than likely, people are going to be throwing $5 to $20 on all of these guys.
Yeah, out of 1,000, by the way. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Guess the SP ranking. We went over some player rater
stuff
stuff last week, or on Tuesday, I should say, with hitters and a couple pitchers. And I was like, I should have made you guess. Well, now I'm going to do that. So let's just start at the top. Who's number one? Who's been the number one SP according to the Razzleball player rater?
Oh, okay.
I'll take your first guess, and then I'll give you a clue.
All right. I'm going to go with Kevin Gonslin.
No, not Kevin Gonslin.
Right.
American League.
American League, okay.
And you know what? Since you were in the right division, I'll let you know you were in the right division.
I was in the right division. Okay, so is it Shane McClanahan?
It is. Nice.
Wow.
Second guess. There you go. I thought you'd go teammate Alek Manoah first.
I was thinking, but I didn't think he had enough strikeouts.
Like, and that's why he doesn't. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Gosman's actually fallen down to 23rd. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. He had a couple like mediocre starts recently or something, because that really surprised me. At 278 ERA with a 116 whip. You know what's crazy? 116, which I learned to talk about on another guy. That's like weirdly not that good.
Yeah.
Like weirdly. I was blown away on one of the guys we'll talk about here in a moment that I was like, how's he not higher? All right, next guy. Tony Gonslin. Where's Tony Gonslin
at? He's got to be pretty high. He's pitched really, really well. I'm going to say he is 7th.
158 ERA, 0.86 whip, 25% K. And how many wins? Like 7 wins.
Ooh.
Go a little bit higher than
maybe 7. Higher. Is he 4th?
He is 4th. Tony Gonslin is 4th. Now the wins certainly help that, but everything else is great too. It's not like he's just some wins monster. Brilliant ratios. Big key this year compared to last year's, he's really got those walks back in check. Remember last year, 5.5 walks per 9, just an obscene walk rate there. Let me give you the percentage for my percentage folks out there. I was looking at BREF, 14%. So 14% walk rate, just crazy high for Gonslin. He couldn't get out of his own way with the self-inflicted wounds there. This year, down to 2.8 on the per 9 and 8% on the walk rate. Perfectly solid there. You can definitely live with an 8% walk rate, and MLB best 4.9 hits, leading to an NL best 0.86 whip and 158 ERA, and then the MLB high 7 wins. Obviously, he's an all formats guy starting all the time, but what is your expectation for Gonslin the rest of the year? And I think primarily I want to focus on what you think volume wise, because he had 50 innings, 55 in the majors, and 12 more in the minors. So you're talking about under 70 innings last year, but he's 28, and frankly, they need him. So what do you think the Dodgers do with Gonslin's innings this year?
That's the $1 million question for a guy like Gonslin, because he's pretty much like, isn't he like almost at his innings total?
He already exceeded his major league total from last year. He had 55 and 2/3 last year. He has 57.
But he only threw 12 and 2/3 in the minors.
Exactly. So it wasn't that many more. So he's
going to exceed it in his next 2 starts, more than likely.
So do you think can they get him to 150? I mean, he's 28. So he's not somebody that they got to baby along.
You got to wonder if like there's going to be like a phantom IL stint at some point.
I mean, it is the Dodgers, so I understand that concern, but I don't know that they can afford it.
And it isn't a 10-day IL anymore for
15.
pitchers, 15. So it's like you've got to lose him for 2 weeks. They've got a nice little lead in the West. So like
No, it's down to 2 games.
No.
Padres
it's down to 2 games.
Yeah,
wow.
Padres been doing their thing, man.
Yeah, I think they probably just need to ride him and hope for the best.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Gonslin needs to just be pitching. And
the question becomes, with that volume, does the effectiveness come down? Because, I mean, what he's doing right now is he's pitching to contact a lot. It's an 88%, 88.5% zone contact rate, but he's getting weak contact and he's getting ground balls.
Yes.
So
193 BABIP for Gonslin. His hard hit rate is down 9 points to 26%. And his barrel rate's down 1.5 to 5.6.
And that 26% is like top 20 in the league. Like,
gotta be, yeah.
So, I mean, again, everything is shaping up for him to be just a really, really good, effective pitcher rest of the way. I just wonder if, as the workload increases and as he starts getting, to inning 100, inning 120, things like that.
Will there be effectiveness dips?
Yeah. And so I think you ride it for right now and maybe even look to make a move with him as he starts getting over that century mark. Once he gets to 100 innings, see if you can try to trade him for a bat or something like that.
I think you could sell pretty high on Gonsolin. He's on the Dodgers. He has his proponents out there. I don't think you're getting like a first-round bat or anything. Maybe it's more of like a 6th to 8th round type talent, but you didn't pay 6th to 8th round pick for Gonsolin either. So that would still be a big, big win. So,
and you've banked all this goodness.
Exactly.
Like,
you got all that.
By the time you get to that point where, you get another 50, 60 innings, that's still going to be 100, 110 innings of really good work that you got from either a guy you picked up off the waiver wire or a guy that you got with one of your last picks.
Very late. So,
exactly. I think I would hold him for now and just keep riding the hot streak. But it's also one of these guys, like, he's not a set and forget it guy, right? Like, you've got to be monitoring his starts and seeing like, okay, are things starting to go awry here? Is this now the time to jump off? But I think, around 100 innings, 110 innings, I'd look to try to trade him off to somebody for a bat and hope.
Especially if you built some good pitching and he's if Gonslin's surplus for you, then you're in a great spot to trade him. You can maybe even do that now. By the way, we didn't expound on Sugar Shane. I think we both agree that he's just a full-on ace, right?
Absolutely.
We didn't really say anything else about him, but he leads baseball with 98 Ks. He's also tied with Gonslin for those 7 wins. He leads the American League in innings at 72 1/3. I think he gets up to like 170 innings this year. He had 123 last year, McClanahan did. I think he's going to get 30 turns.
He's an absolute monster.
Just a stud.
And Tampa Bay just doesn't have the strength in the rotation and in the bullpen that they used to, where they could like baby him at all. Like, they need him to be a horse in the way that Glass now was a horse for them, for a couple of years. And so, is he my number one pitcher in, rest of the way? It's close.
I don't think he quite is, but he's top 5 for me from McClanahan.
Yeah.
And I will have my SP ranks out next week. Finally, I know it's been taking me forever, y'all. I'm very sorry. I'm going to do every other week going forward too, because it's been so long since I've done it.
I'll get some SP ranks out on the Patreon as well.
All right. Moving on. Where is Shane Bieber ranked? Shane Bieber, let me give you some numbers here to help you out. Shane Bieber has 391 ERA, 112 whip in 65 innings with 3 wins, 26% K rate, 6% walk rate.
Well, I'm trying to think of what now, where he compares to Gosman. You said was like 24th or 27th or something like that.
23rd.
I'm gonna go. He is 28.
Lower.
Like 35.
Higher. No. 10 spots higher than that, 45. And he was the guy that when I saw the whip, and I was like, that whip isn't really helping him in the calculation because it gives like each category, like a value, and his 112 whip barely moves the needle, and that kind of floored me for Bieber. I would have expected the whip to be a bigger deal, and it's just not at 112, which is kind of surprising. I thought 45 was kind of crazy. Now 3 wins, that's one thing. I almost should have done it like without wins, since that's so team dependent, but that's part of fantasy value, and that's what we're judging here. So 3 wins certainly doesn't help him. He's over a K an inning at 68 in 65 innings. I feel like he's been great, though. I know the velo's down. I think sometimes we freak out too much about velo drops and ignore when somebody's pitching well. And I think that's what's happening with Bieber, because all I keep hearing is about how the velo's down, and it is down over 1.5. It's at 92.9 last year, 91.2 this year. But at what point do we stop worrying so much about that and recognize that he's been excellent with the lowered velo?
Yeah, I still feel like there's just going to be a shoe dropping with him. But you're right.
The only shoe that would drop is injury.
Yeah, I just feel like there's something
pitcher
there. Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been so scared of him.
I guess you agree with the consensus then. You're worried about the velo.
I do. But I mean, you also can't deny what he's done so far. And, we say this all the time. Yes. Are there players with more injury risk than others? Absolutely. Sure. But every pitcher has injury risk.
Has a pretty high injury risk.
Yeah. So you don't want to downgrade him too far, because we're now dealing with smaller samples remaining than we were at the beginning of the season. And so there's less time for them to get injured. Yeah, I'm, he's not a guy I'd be actively trying to go trade for or anything. But if I've got him, I'm not selling him either.
Yeah,
everything,
that's the way to play it.
Everything is in line for him to have a pretty darn good season. Still does give up a lot of contact in the zone. I mean, he's got a career high 87.7.
How do you feel about this? You ready for this? I just, before you go too much further, because I want to see how much this changes your outlook, at least for the immediate future. My man Shane Bieber has at Colorado, at the Dodgers next week.
That's a 2-start.
Yeah.
I'm
starting him. I am. Start your aces, man. That's devastating, but I'm not benching him. I'm not.
I would bench him.
I don't think you can bench your guy with a 290.
But I also don't have to make that decision.
I don't either. So it's a lot easier for us to say. But I would. You know what? I'll start him in DFS on both days. Put my money where my mouth is.
I'm gonna hold you to that, because I
will. Tell me. Remind me on Tuesday.
I will absolutely.
I'll put a reminder in right now to use Bieber in both starts there, just to say I'm putting a little skin in the game there, just so that because I don't have him anywhere. So yeah, it is easy for me to say, but I'll put my $5 on it, which is is not crazy, but it's a little skin in the game.
I want to give you some 2-start pitchers.
Okay,
and you're gonna tell me whether you'd rather start
Bieber
on that 2-start.
Okay.
Or I'm these scared. Guys on their 2 starts. Alex Fado is home versus Chicago and home versus Texas.
I mean, I do prefer that. I would. Oh God. I'm gonna still go with Bieber over him because of the Ks. Although Faedo has been getting into his swinging strikes a little bit, hinting that more Ks are coming. No, I'm still going to go Bieber, but man, you already challenged me there, and you used a Tiger. That was dirty pool to go Tiger.
It was like I just pulled up the probables grid, and it was the first one where I went, that's. I
mean, I'm starting that too, but if I have to rank them, which is what you're asking, I'm still going to go Bieber ahead. I'm going to go with the better pitcher. That was the White Sox, by the way, when you said Chicago. I figure most people know that, but because there's interleague, I just want to specify.
Christian Javier is at Texas and home versus the White Sox.
Oh, shit. That one's tougher because I'm not worried about his blow up. I think that's pretty standard blow up. So he's still been great. He gets the Texas start, which is nice. Damn, dude. You've made this very challenging. I'm going to go with Bieber still.
Okay. Zach Eflin, who's been great, is home versus Miami and at Washington.
I got to go Eflin over Bieber there. Those are two cushy starts, and he has been pitching well, like you said. I'm going to go Biebs. I'm going to go Eflin on that. So it's Eflin, Biebs, Faedo. Who was the other guy?
Christian Javier.
Oh, Javier. Oh shit, Javier over Faedo, maybe two.
And these are all reasonable.
These are all good, man.
Like these could all be on a team together.
I totally agree.
I got another one for you. Merrill Kelly, home versus Cincinnati and home versus Minnesota.
Merrill Kelly, home versus Cincinnati and home versus who? Minnesota. Oh my god. That's a good part.
And then I got one more after this.
Okay, I'm gonna go Bieber and Eflin over Kelly.
What about Alex Wood, home versus Kansas City and at Pittsburgh?
He's the top.
Okay,
he's the top for me. Like I like this. I like Bieber. I don't like this setup at all. So I got to go with a guy who I like a lot in Alex Wood with a markedly better setup. He's the number one guy on that whole list.
But there's no like fringe starter in like a 12-team league that you're starting over Bieber on a 2-start, no matter the matchup, right?
Correct. Because he's been so good. I'm going to trust my ace. I know it's devastating to go to Colorado and then the Dodgers. Like it's bad, but it's the bad luck of the draw. I'm not sitting my 291 ERA guy who's a proven guy too, right? Like this isn't Martin Perez with a 281. This is Shane fucking Bieber. So I'm going to go with it. It's scary. It's tough. But I'm not going to sit him. I'm going to go with it.
Okay.
All right. Where does Carlos Rodon rank on the Razzleball Player Rater, by the way? It's razzball.com/player rater, all one word for those that want to ever look this up. It's a very useful tool.
Rodon has not been Rodon-esque.
Okay. You're already on the right track there. I will give you that hint that, yes, you are in the right frame of mind to suggest that. 351 ERA, 125 whip, and NL best 11.4 Ks for 75 Ks in 59 innings and 4 wins for Rodon.
I'm going to guess he is 52nd.
Bro, you're insane. He's 51.
Boom!
You're insane, dude. That's so good. You want to guess, or you want to know this too? The names that he's sandwiched in between: Sean Manaea and Logan Webb at 50 and 52. Like, so 3 guys down there, and Javier's 53, Urias is 54. So 4 guys right there that were expected to be top 20, 25 guys, if not higher. Actually, Javier's the low one. All those other guys are like top 12, Rodon, Webb, Urias, and they're down in the 50s right now. So, and I'm not sitting any of them, right? I'm starting all 4 of those guys. Now you're a Giants fan, so you watch more Giants games consistently. You mentioned that Rodon has not been Rodon-esque. He gave up the 8 at St. Louis, bounced back immediately with a 6-inning 2 runs against the Padres. But then it's 5 1/3, 3 runs, 5 innings, 1 run, which at Philly was fine. They ran up his pitch count. And then 4 innings, 2 runs against Colorado. And again, they ran up his pitch count, 98 in those 2 games there. Are you concerned at all to the point where you would do anything actionable, or you're just riding it out because it's a little bit of a bumpy road here for Rodon?
I think it depends on what your expectations are, right? Do you think that he is an ace? Did you draft him to be an ace? Like,
I think a lot of people did. Like, projections love it.
He's not an ace. Like, he has ace level talent, but the Giants are not letting him go deep into games.
I think it's his own fault. 99, 98, 98 pitches in these last 3 when he's failed to go more than 5 1/3.
Yeah, I think it absolutely is, but I don't think the Giants want him to go over 100 pitches.
Yeah, 110 is his max this year, and he reached that on a 12 strikeout 6-inning game against Colorado.
And so I think that if you're thinking that he's going to be a guy that is going to give you like a lot of really good innings, I don't know that he's going to be that. I think he's going to be a guy who gives you some good innings, but it's going to be less than you expect from your top tier guy. There were a couple of games where it felt like he was getting squeezed a little bit, and you could see the frustration on his face, and I think it really affected him. But yeah, he has electric stuff. He absolutely does, and he still does. But I don't know that he's an SP2 right now. I think he's like an SP3 or 4.
For Rodon. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is a level of concern. Now, how actionable is it? I don't know. You're not
Yeah, are
seeing.
you? I don't
let's
know
say
that you're
here.
going to sell him.
Yeah, so you're probably not going to sell. But what about this? Next week it's at Pittsburgh, easy start, no
Yeah.
problem. And the week after it's at Atlanta. You starting Rodon automatically in 10s?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What about a one-off week where it's at Colorado or at the Dodgers? Would you automatically be starting Rodon in a 10?
Two-star week.
Not a two-star. Not a two-star. Let's just say one game in a 10, because in 12s and 15, 12s and deeper, we're not even considering benching Rodon.
I think it becomes a question of what you have else on your roster.
Okay.
I don't think he is an insta start in Colorado, or against the Dodgers or at the Mets. The
Mets. My goodness, they've been so good. So I think that's fair with Rodon. Like, there was a big expectation for him. He's been good. He's still, like I said, 12s and deeper, set it and forget it right now. 10s, I think you can have a little bit more of a question depending on what sort of rotation you've built. If Rodon has a really tough one start week, you might be looking to like a Zach Eflin getting 2 starts over him in a 10-teamer type deal. And you might not have thought that at the beginning of the year with Rodon. And I think the Giants still have designs on October. They don't want to waste all his innings to where they don't have him in October too.
I think that is the most important point. The Giants are a team that's looking at October. They know from previous experience that the way you win in October is starting pitching, right? Having three or 4 starters who can just dominate the other team, and then having a strong bullpen like they do. So
yes,
I think that they are going to be cautious and careful with him, and make sure that he is available for them. Him and Webb are available for them in October. So like, I think it's, have both of them have been disappointing, considering where you
still
drafted
good.
them.
But yeah, I agree. I agree. Quick word on Webb. That was Rodon that we were talking about. Quick word on Webb. 377, 180, 119 with his whip. 59 Ks and 71 2/3, I think, is the biggest disappointment with Webb, at least for me, because I was fully in on Webb. I had him ranked 10th in my final rankings. I was super gung-ho that he was legit, unquestioned. Where's your level of concern with him? Can he get his strikeouts back? He's down like 2 points on swinging strike rate, which is a pretty big deal when you go from 12 to 10. So can he get the strikeouts back, or is he just more of last year was the career year and he's going to go back to being like a solid Matt Cain-esque mid-tier guy? Because he kind of looks like Matt Cain too, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he is kind of like Matt Cain. And he gave up so much contact last year that like you had to wonder, like, and has throughout his career, that that like these huge strikeout rates we saw kind of brewing, like maybe those were fraudulent. And
I meant that person.
I did too. Like, I had him in my top 15. I think we got excited by a potential breakout from a guy that had been talked about for a long time, and maybe the industry as a whole didn't do its due diligence in kind of looking at the profile. Yeah, in a great park,
in a good park.
Yeah,
off a breakout, like all these factors added up to at 25 years old. It's all there for Webb. So,
does that mean he can't get it back? I mean, he absolutely. We saw him do it. He could definitely get it back, but at the moment, I mean, we're talking about a guy who, 88% zone contact, gets a lot of ground balls to get of innings quickly. Like, I think that is more of who I think he is, kind of Matt Cain-esque.
Yeah. Would you buy Logan Webb right now if there's a discount?
I already have.
Okay.
Yeah, I traded him, or I traded an injured Eloy in a dynasty OBP league where, obviously Eloy's lack of walks for Logan Webb. I'm even though like it hasn't been great since then, like I'm not regretting that at all.
No, I don't think you should. I think there's a good summer and good start next week with Casey and at Pitt. He gets that same 2-step that Alex Wood does for Logan Webb. Let's stay in the NL West, actually, with our next 2 guys. One on the disappointing end, this next one, and then one on the positive end. Walker Bueller. Only clue I'll give you is he's lower than Rodon, but you probably didn't need that clue. That's probably not that helpful. You knew that. 384 ERA, 131 whip in 61 innings. Does have the 6 wins to help counterbalance, but a 20% K rate. And I will say, I'm a big Bueller guy. The Bueller detractors have consistently questioned if he can maintain the big strikeout rate because his swinging strike rate is just good, not elite. It's been like 12%. It's never been like that 14, 15% that usually breeds a 28, 29, 30% strikeout rate, which is where Bueller's been. He's at 20% this year with that same 12% swinging strike rate. So where are you on Bueller, and where do you think he ranks? And then we'll talk about where you are with him right now.
At 131 whip and a 25% strikeout rate.
No, 20%.
What? Oh wow, 20% strikeout.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I looked at his projection rest of the season. I'm gonna go 69.
You're insane, dude. 68.
Oh, there we go, baby.
That's insane.
I did it for the meme, but I
love it. I think the 6 wins are saving it, or else he'd be in like the 80s because we know 7 is MLB lead, so 6 is right there. Because I mean, 131 whip, a near 4 ERA,
disastrous from
20% Ks
from a potential first round pick. I mean, he was going on the 15-16 turn in 15-team leagues. That is, a disaster.
If B Woody had been gone, I'd have gone Betts Bueller.
Oh man, I wish you had.
I know. Yeah, of course, we're competitors. I don't take offense to that, but yeah, that's exactly what not that Woodruff's been amazing, but I guess
Woodruff's been brutal too. Like, I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe 6 of one, half dozen the other at this point, but at least Woodruff.
Somebody went pocket aces with Bueller, Woodruff,
100%.
And they're in some pain right now.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
anything actionable though? Are you doing anything like is Bueller like a sit on a 1 start at Colorado week, or is he just set it and forget it and you just let him work through it? Because that's where I'm at personally. I'm not taking him out. I'm nervous. I don't love the way he's been pitching, but I can't see a world where I ever take Bueller out, even at Colorado 1 start.
He's had an at Colorado and gave up 2 earned runs in 5 innings, struck out 5, like he was fine. That was opening week start.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so, that was the first start for Bueller this year.
So I don't think I believe in that talent just too much.
Me too.
He is absolutely electric when he's on the mound. So this is some bumps in the road. I'm not super worried about it. I think he's gonna be fine. And I think the strikeouts will come back a little bit. Maybe not to the level.
At least the swinging strike rate isn't down from where it's at. Like I said, I know it's been a little unappealing for folks. What's funny, by the way, though, I guess that's just what happens when you get into the ace tier, because like 12% is usually like pretty good, but people have been pushing back on it because it's not top of the scale. So I get it, but I still think Bueller is an ace in the make. Like, he's an ace.
I don't think he's going to be. Maybe he doesn't return to like 28, 29% strikeout rate, but like, he could be 23, 24, 25. Like, 20 is way too low. Like, he should be getting more strikeouts. And I think, the whip should. I mean, he's too good of a pitcher to have 131.
I'd buy Bueller too. I'd buy Bueller and Rodon here. If there's any measure of a discount, I don't even know if I need a discount. I'd still buy. Like, I'd pay a top bat for Bueller if I needed the pitching. But I mean, because you can even finagle a discount.
Outside of that last start against the Mets, which, like you said, Mets are a great team. Like, he's gone at least 5 innings in every single one of his starts, including a complete game shutout earlier in the season, a 7 innings. Like, he's a horse. Yeah. And like,
he's a G.
I think at worst he can volume his way into being a top 25 starter the rest of the way.
Yeah, because they had 208 innings for him last year for Bueller, knowing that they were going to make the playoffs. I think he's an ace, I believe, or at least an ace in the making. They're not going to put total.
Where do you think you're going to have him ranked in your SP ranks? Is he going to be? I mean, he was probably a top 5 guy for you coming into the season.
3rd, I think.
Yeah,
I was very high on him. Probably down to like 12. It's not going to be that big of a drop. Like,
so it's going to be out of the top 10, but not out of the top 50. So he's still an SP1 in 12s and 15s for you.
Yeah, he was 4th. I went Cole, DeGrom, Woodruff, Bueller. And I'd had him at 2. I dipped him down a little bit to leapfrog DeGrom.
Dude,
and
that's a brutal
Woodruff.
top 4.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody's got to be feeling that way. If you took a starting pitcher in the first round, you were kicking yourself because people
Especially after what Cole did last night.
Yeah, and then Scherzer and
Urias.
Urias, yeah. I mean, it's been just a brutal year for starting for top. If you drafted top tier starting pitching,
Burns is far and away the best, right?
Yeah,
because even with last night's start, he's still sub-3 with a sub-1 whip.
Mhm.
And like even Cole's ugly start last night still only pushed him to 3.63 ERA, and he has a 107 whip with a 31% K. But last night was devastating. 5 homers for Garrett Cole. Crazy town.
Oh, it just crushed me.
Just devastating. Let's stay in the NL West with a positive. Mackenzie Gore. He has been brilliant this year. He has a 160 ERA, 107 whip in 45 innings with 4 wins and a 30% strikeout rate. Where's Mackenzie Gore ranking right now?
Ooh, I'm actually surprised he has as many innings as he does.
Me too.
He's got to be. Is he 22nd?
He's very close to that. He's 19th.
Oh,
you're doing well, man. You're doing well.
All right.
So he's been wonderful. He's sandwiched in between Scherzer and Lauer, which speaks to Scherzer's excellence that despite being injured, because volume certainly helps. I mean, it can hurt too if you have bad ratios.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that Scherzer won 5 of his 8 starts has helped him stay up there despite the injury. 2.54 ERA, 0.95 whip, 59 strikeouts in 49 innings. I guess he has more innings than Mackenzie Gore anyway. So I guess Scherzer hasn't been out that long. Never mind. But he's in between Scherzer and Eric Lauer. Mackenzie is. And he's been awesome. My only concern with him was when Snell and Clevenger were working back. I was like, are they going to put him in the minors to keep him to keep him starting? And they haven't had to do that. The fact of it is
I don't think they would.
Not
at
now.
This point.
No, not at this point. I thought they would earlier when he hadn't. I mean, 4 or 5 starts ago, I was talking like, okay, they might put him down. And I was still saying, don't cut him though, because this is speculation. I have no idea if this is true. And Nick Martinez had been pitching well enough to kind of stay in the rotation. I think though, if Clevenger and Snell both come back healthy, then they're running a 6-man and they're putting Martinez in the bullpen. You cannot take Gore out right now. How could you possibly?
No. Maybe they trade an arm for
maybe make a move, but
yeah,
you cannot move Gore out at this point. And we'll see if Clevenger and Snell can both get back healthy. I know Snell's back, and we'll see if Clev Dog can join him. But Mackenzie Gore, man, 19th. I guess what's the season outlook then? Remember last year dealing with the yips, pitched like 50 innings, I think, thereabouts.
Yeah, that's the big question is like how far are they going to let him go? I think a 6-man rotation would make a lot of sense for them because they could, take a lot of pressure off of all of those arms.
Exactly. Can he get 100 more innings? Can he get to 148?
I think he can. Yeah, I think he can, and I think they can be pretty good innings.
I think so too.
So I mean, I've always been a Gore guy. Even
stick with him in like Dynasty and stuff, even after last year.
Yeah,
nice, dude. That paid off.
So yeah, I think it's he's one of those guys where the talent was always there. I think it was all mental for him.
Yeah.
And so
again, the rumor was the yips last year. We don't have 1,000% confirmation on that, but that he was just mentally lost, couldn't put the ball anywhere where he wanted it, and just Mackenzie Gore was just struggling like crazy. And we were worried, like, is this the Forrest Whitley route now? Nope. He totally pivoted, had a brilliant spring. It has paid off into a brilliant start to the regular season. It's hard not to be very excited about
that Padres team, man. They get Tatis back healthy. They're gonna be.
That's like a trade acquisition of
a major
player.
Exactly. Like, I mean, people are talking like, oh, what it would take to get Soto. Like, the Padres are gonna get, one of the best players in baseball on their team,
without giving up an asset.
They gave up James Shields.
Oh yeah. I meant to their current team, but it cost them James Shields, big game James.
Do you think Soto gets traded?
No.
They can't do it, right?
I think so. If he does, it's in the offseason. I don't think there's an in-season trade.
They have to wait till his last year, right?
They gotta, right? I mean, Never say never, but I just don't think that there's an in-season trade to get it done.
You've
I
got to
don't think
try to sign him, right?
I
Like
think
you've
so.
got to.
Absolutely.
Do you think he just doesn't want to play there?
He did turn down a giant offer, didn't he? Already
The $300 million
300
offer,
mil,
I
yeah.
believe,
So I mean, he might not. Like, it's not a great outlook right now. Like, what are they clinging to in Washington outside of Soto? Their second best player is a free agent after this year, Josh Bell.
But he's definitely getting.
Yeah,
Bell is definitely getting traded.
Ruiz and Gray, the returns for the Scherzer Turner deal. That's great. I like both of them. They both are showing that, yes, they are going to be real pieces. You can get hyped about Luis Garcia. He had a great AAA run before coming up. I still am excited about him. He's 22.
They've got some interesting pieces, but like that rotation is.
Yeah, the pitching is a nightmare for the future outside of Josiah Gray.
Yeah.
You got Strasburg throwing 50 miles an hour, Eric Fetty and Patrick Corbin right now in the rotation. Cade Cavalli's coming up soon, but like, I don't know. It's brutal there. I still think you got to try to sign Soto.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
would do anything I can.
$400 million
to sign him. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to our favorite, Kyle Gibson. Now,
oh boy,
4.40 ERA, 127 WHIP, 3 wins, 22% K rate, and 57 in the third innings. Remember how well he started? He's back to where Kyle Gibson normally is. So,
how dare you?
As always, he was a stone cold fraud. And I should have cut him after the 2.93 ERA.
You could. I'm glad you kept him.
I did. Yeah. So, where is our buddy Kyle Gibson ranking right now?
Okay, so 127 WHIP, 4.40 ERA. Okay. And only a 21.6 strikeout rate. All right, I'm gonna say that he is 103rd.
You're crazy good at this. 110.
I almost went 112.
You're crazy good at this. It's sandwiched in between Alex Wood and Mitch White right now. I will say, just to gas myself and make you feel bad, I've gotten a 367 120 out of him. So I've missed some of the bad
For those
ones.
of you not watching on video,
I'm getting double birded right now.
Those birds that he was chasing around a few episodes ago have returned in my office.
I avoided the Dodgers start for obvious reasons, and he got blasted in that one. I forget the other one. I was probably the Colorado, which was actually a baseline quality start, 6-3, but I definitely avoided that one too. So, it's been all right. He's back to being kind of a standard streamer, I think, for 15s and 12 team leagues for Gibson. For next week, he will have Miami, so that's an easy start. And then it sets up for a 2-step at Texas and at San Diego. How do you feel about that for Kyle Gibson in 2 weeks?
I think I would do that. As well as
San Diego played good against righties.
Yeah, they're offensively, they're not the strongest once you get past Machado. So
yeah, they've been killing lefties and struggling against right. Tatis will eventually help that, but he's not back next week.
Yeah, so I think you're rolling with him for at least another 2 weeks.
Okay, so that's Kyle Gibson, our buddy, doing fine, but just kind of not having a breakout, kind of just being.
Do you think that like part of the issues with Gibson are that as things warm up, he has more landscaping gigs?
Absolutely, yeah. All of a sudden, he can't just put those off to the side, and that's probably why he does well.
He's probably tired.
Season, exactly, because he's doing that. Like, if I need my lawn cut, I don't care if you have a start that day.
Yeah,
I need it cut, and if it's before the game or after, it needs to be done that day.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to do it before the game because it's just too late in the day.
Exactly, and he cares about his business.
Yeah,
that's the thing too. Like, he's not going to go half-ass.
4-star, lawn care.
I love his landscaping company is just wonderful. So that's probably it.
There are new people to the podcast that have no idea what we're talking about.
No clue.
We're not going to explain it either.
No, I couldn't even find the basis for those jokes. I wish I could. The pods where we really started saying that, but just know that Kyle Gibson's a landscaper, and let's move on to Jose Barrios, who we know has had a tumultuous season, very up and down for him. The bottom line right now is a 5.24 ERA, 141 WHIP in 56 2/3 with 4 wins and a 20% strikeout rate. Where's Jose Barrios at right now?
I'm gonna meme it up and go 169.
You're a little bit further away, but I like the meme
Mhm.
of what's he said, 147. So again, you're,
Oh,
you're
okay.
still you're still doing pretty well on these guesses
Yeah.
here. In typical Barrios fashion, Nick Pollock, our friend over at Pitcher List, calls him the great undulator, basically just
Mhm.
describing how he's always up and down. And it really does kind of crystallize his season. The problem is with guys like this, the downs, when the downs are so bad that they cancel out the ups. Because if you go
Yeah.
by game score, which I think is a good shorthand, it's a metric created by Bill James. You start at 50 points, you get credits and debits based on how well you do. Anything in the mid 50s or higher is a pretty good start. Anything in the mid 40s or lower is a pretty bad start. Barrios has 6 starts of a 54 game score or better, ranging as high as 74, and 5 starts ranging 45 and below, but 3 of those are sub 30. That season opener that he had
Cool.
when he threw a third of an inning, 4 runs, 4 2/3, 6 runs on 9 base runners at Cleveland, and 2 1/3, 6 runs on 7 base runners at the Angels. So those 3 starts alone have just decimated the good work that he's done. But there are still more good starts than bad. So I wonder if that alters your opinion of Barrios at all. Like, are you still confident in him? Are you still using him? Are you cutting him anywhere? What's up with Barrios, and how are you feeling about him in shallower formats? Because I don't think you can cut him in a 15. So let's talk 12s and lower.
Man, like I don't really know what to do with Barrios. Like
It's a lot. I know.
Like he completely kind of has changed around his pitch mix. He's throwing the 4-seamer a lot less this year, almost 10% less, down to 26.7%.
Usually that benefits guys. He's not getting the
Yeah, because I mean that was the pitch last year that just got destroyed. And so you
mhm.
would think like that kind of change like would mean better things for Barrios. But it has not.
Yeah, if you had told me if Barrios had cut his fastball percentage by 10 points, I'd have said awesome. He's probably spiking a huge strikeout rate surge or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's tried to throw a sinker more, but that's not helping anything. Even though it's not necessarily a bad pitch. Like I don't. It's so weird. He's allowing more fly balls this year than he ever has. You know, he had a 34% fly ball rate last year. It's up to 43% this year. Ground ball rate is down 10 or is down over 10%.
That's rough.
Like, I mean, he's not this bad, but he is definitely not even close to where you drafted him.
No, because I mean, again, when you have those bad starts, one bad start cancels out like 2 goodies, right?
Yeah.
It's so unfair how it works. You get 2 gems, and they can piss it all away with one bad start. So, I guess
He's
the
at almost
question,
90% contact in the zone. Like he is
man,
just
not fooling anybody.
extremely hittable. Like, and he's also being the most aggressive he has been in his career with a 68% first pitch strike rate.
He's trying to attack early, and it's just
And
not
he's getting
helping for
crushed.
Barrios. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so he's coming off just as people were starting to like cut him or talk about cutting him. He comes around and says, let me get a huge revenge game here. He beasts on his former team, the Twins. 7 innings of 2-run ball with 3 hits, 2 walks, 13 punchies, a career high for Barrios, to kind of like quell everyone's concerns right now. Is that enough to quell your concerns? Or is there a world where you're benching and or cutting in like 10s and 12 teamers for Barrios?
I think you definitely have to be more judicious than you normally would be with a guy who's probably your SP2.
Yeah. Can I give you a hypothetical?
Yes.
Next week he faces Baltimore. Let's say he is fine. 5 innings, 3 runs, 4 Ks, and gets a win to kind of save it. So it's fine, but it's not special. Add that to what he's done. How would you feel again in shallow weeks? Because in 15s, I think you just got to ride it out with Barrios. How would you feel the following week at the White Sox and at the Brewers for a 2-step if he's just mediocre against Baltimore?
I think I think he becomes a question mark in 10-team leagues, especially if we start going through some of those other 2 starters that we were discussing. Like I'm starting Alex Wood, obviously Bieber.
I will point out he starts against Detroit today too, so there will be 2 starts before you have to make a decision on that 2-step.
Yeah, but one's against a AAA team.
I know. So okay, but then what do you do if he's not even that good against it?
Yeah, if he gets raked today,
then
you're really scared. I'm probably still rolling with it, but I think that's more of a matter of like I play in 15-team leagues, and in my head it's hard for me to translate that. I can totally understand not wanting to start him on that team.
Can you cut him yet though? Are you too high? Like, is it that the upside's too high, or that you paid too high of a draft cost that you don't want to cut him? Because I think the latter is not a good decision. I don't think you should keep him just because paid.
If that is the reason, because I had this discussion with someone the other day. They're like, well, I invested a 4th or 5th round pick in this guy, and I said that doesn't mean anything anymore. Like at this point, where you drafted a guy is irrelevant. The question becomes, where would you draft him today if you were redrafting?
What can you get the rest of the season? Because the draft cost, like, and I do it too, by the way. So I'm not throwing stones here. It's hard to divorce it.
Absolutely.
You have to. And you have to start assessing the player for who they are. And right now, Barrios is just not himself in any real way.
Yeah. Because I don't think he is a top 40 starter the rest of the way at this point.
I don't think probably I'm not Barrios in my top.
He's probably not top 50.
I'll probably have him around the top 50. I think just off the top of my head.
I would even push on that. Why would you have him top 50? Because I
have to see where he ranks first before I can.
Because here's my argument. Like, he doesn't have the upside of guys that warrants his downside. Like, I think it goes back to what you were just talking about. Like the 2 bad starts versus the 1 good. Like, he doesn't have the upside that warrants the risk of that downside. So, like, I don't know that he's a top. And I love Bruce. I've been a long guy. Time. I thought he was gonna be an absolute ace, and I was wrong. I didn't draft him anywhere this year, but it wasn't because I didn't like him. I just was going for different things where he was going.
I had him 18th, and I moved him up from 29th. I should have kept him 29th, but I was really bought in. My last ranking, I was like, yeah, I'm in. And I actually got lucky because I didn't get him either, but it was because I missed him. I got sniped. I was getting bummed. Like, damn it, Barrios taken from me again. And it looks like I've been saved for myself. Projections say like a low 4s ERA, a low 1.2s whip, and a 23-24% strikeout rate for 124 innings. I think the volume is the big piece there. A lot of guys probably don't have 124 projected innings the rest of the way. If he's that projection, what do you think of Barrios? Is that enough to be a top 50 guy?
Isn't that where we said Walker Bueller was right now? And where did we say Bueller was?
Bueller was ranked 68th.
So there you go. Like, he's probably.
Oh, you're saying with Bueller has those current stats.
Yeah, those are pretty close to Bueller's stats.
Bueller's ERA is even better. So to your point,
and the whip is worse, but but still, I think that that puts him outside the top 60 starting pitcher.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe he's not top 50 then for Barrios. Okay, so I think though
that hurts for me to say, honestly.
It really, it's tough.
I really like
pro Barrios show. Always has been. So the actionable bottom line, 10-teamer. I still think he's a team streamer. I'm not cutting him yet.
Yeah, I'm not cutting him either. Yeah.
So same goes for 12-team, and then in 15s, he is still kind of a set it and forget it unless you've really molded a great staff that you can.
Let's say he goes out and shoves today. Do you try to sell him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, back to back.
If he goes back to back, 10Ks, back to back. Somebody's going to want to buy low.
Yeah, and I'll give a discount still too. I'm not going to go out and charge full price. I'm honest.
You're not going to get the value of a top 20 starter, but you maybe get the value of a top 30 or top 40 starter.
Yep.
And I think, I think that is fair.
I'm with that. All right, so that's Jose Barrios. A little deep dive on our boy there. We are bumming. Another guy that's got me bumming. I liked him even more than Barrios while we're talking about L's. I had
Oh,
this
you and
guy
me both.
15th. Trevor Rogers. This is a very pro Trevor Rogers show. And, we should feel vindicated or at least justified in our love because the number one guy in the main event, actually not right now, but he did hit number one yesterday, Striker Jenstead, also a giant Trevor Rogers fan. And if he's good enough for the number one or at least number two guy right now in the overall of the main event, he's good enough for me.
He's only number one or number two because I sniped him on Trevor Rogers in that main where he's number one, number
you saved
two.
Him.
I absolutely bailed him out.
You're in both of Strikers leagues, dude. Have fun with that. I only got one striker, and I think he's top 40 with both. I believe
he mentioned us on the RotoWire pod this week.
Yeah. I know, calling him out for his humility. Oh, he's 55 with the other one. He's all the way down at 55.
Yeah, what a bum.
So anyway, we loved Rogers. We weren't alone. There was a big push for him. There might have been some detractors, but they weren't very loud. I felt like you were either neutral or loved Rogers. I didn't really hear much. I'm out on Trevor Rogers. Like I said, I loved him. I fully believed in him. The issue, Justin, has been that the changeup simply hasn't been there this year to the degree that it was last year when it was an elite pitch. I will say last night, the June 9th start against Washington, the changeup looked the best I've seen it this year. He's had 11 starts. I probably watched 6 of them start to finish at the very least because I'm very invested in him and I'm desperately hoping he gets better. Last night was a positive sign, but it was also Washington. Where does Trevor Rogers currently rank?
All right. So,
I'm sorry. Let me give you the numbers. My bad.
I've got the numbers.
Okay, so 558 ERA, 154 WHIP in 50 innings with a 20% K rate and just 3 wins.
Oh man!
Just for our listeners, then, since you already have the numbers.
So Kyle Gibson was like 140 something. You said
yes. Kyle Gibson was 110. It was.
It was.
Who was 140?
Barrios was
147. Yes,
and he's way worse than Barrios. Well, yeah, he's worse than Barrios. So I'm gonna say the 169 is that
I go way lower.
Oh God, it's like 215 or something. Huh?
It's exactly 215. Stop it.
Oh my God.
Stop it. It's exactly 215, dude. 215 among starters, not overall. It's bad right now. So you get this good start now, like as you're going into the weekend, right? You're leaving with a little juicy thought in your head of Trevor Rogers. But is he on the chopping block in shallower formats for you yet? Or
he should have already been chopped in shallower formats. I mean, I love Trevor Rogers, but I would have caught him by now.
Yeah. But what about now? Let's say you kept him. Does this glimmer of hope keep you in, or he gets at Philly next week for Trevor Rogers?
How do you start him for that?
I don't know. With your eyes closed and a prayer?
I mean, I have him in the main with Scott. Where he is in first and almost first overall, and I am in last and almost last overall.
You're doing better in our league.
Yeah, our league's fine.
We're tied for 4th. Look at us cuties there being tied.
The hard part is I look at this team and I go, this is not a bad team. Like, how is it like it's doing it so?
I mean, you saw I was in 11th and 12th until I climbed. Like, if you got a team like that where it's like the rankings, the standings say you're going to be fine, then just hold the course. Yeah,
the standings are not saying this team's going to be fine. But anyways,
you are literally 701st out of 705.
Yeah, no, it's I'm fighting for not dead last in that league. So
Trevor Rogers.
That being said, I started him this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'd be willing to start him at
Next
Philly.
Week. Even in a 15. So because this is a main 15 teamer that you're talking about here.
I'm going to look at, let's see what the matchups are. Cause I mean, like my other options are going to be waiver wire guys. Cause I'm probably dropping. So I mean, maybe I end up starting him and just having to roll with it because it is a 15 team league, but
who are you cutting? I'm looking at the squad right now. You can cut this Kyle Gibson guy.
Probably not. Yarborough's going to get cut.
You hanging on to Winder or Winder?
I've been holding on to him, and I just picked him up. He just had his first rehab start, so I'm hoping he's going to be back here
Okay.
pretty soon.
You
So
could
it'll
probably
just
cut
be
McCormick with Meadows coming back, or at least one of your outfielders.
yeah. I'll probably cut.
He's probably the worst.
I'll probably cut because my pitching definitely is the thing that needs help.
So Rogers, you're probably starting in 15. 12, no? Easy now in 12?
I think it's against Philadelphia. I think it's an easier now. I don't think I would start him in a 12.
Are you cutting him in 12 still after the Washington start?
No, I think at 10s well, I think after the Washington start, maybe I'm going to hold and kind of see.
But you would have already cut him in 10s.
I probably would
have. You don't play any 10s, so you don't have to worry about that.
I don't even play any 12s.
I know. I envy you. I'm getting killed in my 12. It's literally my worst league, and I love doing the beat Paul Sporer, especially because NFBC is kind enough to hook it up for me. But I just live up to that name every year. I just let them beat the living shit out of me.
I decline the beat Justin Mason league
because you literally cut out 12s.
Though maybe next year what I'll do is I'll see if they want to do a beat Justin Mason DC or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Or a beat Justin Mason like main event qualifier or something like that.
I like that idea. But yeah, because I'm just I don't know. I suck at 12s. Okay, so Trevor Rogers, we're pretty much holding right now if we haven't cut him because we got a glimmer of hope yesterday with the Washington start. Keep an eye on that changeup. If it's getting the swings and misses and resulting in the strikeouts the way it did yesterday, he can get back on track. He can be, you know who he can be this year. I firmly believe this, and this is why I have a hard time cutting him really anywhere. And I haven't, and obviously now I'm not going to. He can be this year's Luis Castillo. Remember how dreadful it was for a long time. 3 months into the season for Castillo, where he was toting like a 7 ERA, and he wound up by season's end with a 3.98. It was through June he had a 5.18 or 5.14, excuse me, and then from July 1st on, Luis Castillo had a 3.04. I feel like that's the kind of trajectory that Rogers is headed on. Oh, and guess what? They both use amazing changeups.
And it all comes down to the changeup with Rogers. Like, I mean, the changeup has been the thing. It just has not been, it's a pitch that helps the other pitches look better. And when the changeup's not working for him and he can't command it and put it in the right spot, nothing works.
Nothing works. Literally nothing. Like, that's the thing too with the changeup. Like, he can't go to Rogers doesn't go to the fastball to cover it and the slider. No, everything functions off the changeup for both Castillo and Rogers. So I didn't even know I was going to make this link until just now. And now I'm realizing that it's like a pretty strong link. And that could be your hope for Trevor Rogers. I'm not saying he will 100% get his ERA all the way down below 4 the way Luis Castillo did. But there's at least that hope that if the changeup comes back, Rogers can be a summer stud.
Yeah. And I mean, he might be on your wire. Like, if he's on your wire, I think I'm picking him up just for the hell of it,
Yeah, go check.
I don't know that, like I said, I don't know that I want to start him against Philadelphia, but I think I
stop for him.
Yeah, I think he, if you're stashing an injured guy or, stashing a, minor leaguer, I mean, I think I'd rather have Rogers on the chance that he could, be turning it around and be a top 30 starter rest of the way.
Yep. He's under 70% at Yahoo and ESPN, and that's not just dead leagues. Like, usually if they're at 85, 90%, I'm like, okay, that could just be dead leagues. But 69% of Yahoo, 66% of ESPN, he's on some waiver wires in active leagues. You need to go check and make sure. All right, let's finish it off on a positive note. Joe Ryan, my boy, having a good one. Been having COVID for 52 years, by the way. I hope he's okay. I'm not trying to make light of it, but he's been on the COVID IL for a whole last minute. Oh, wait. Actually, now he got moved to the standard IL?
No, he's on COVID IL.
Oh, okay. BREF doesn't have a COVID IL distinction. So anyway, he's been on the COVID IL for a while, but obviously beyond that, he's been excellent. 2.28 ERA, 0.99 whip, 24% K rate, and 5 wins and 43 1/3 for Joe Ryan. Where does he rank before we get into his outlook?
Okay, so we've got 220 or
he had a rehab start yesterday too, by the way. Just want to throw that in. So he is working his way back.
A sub-1 whip, almost a strikeout inning, but only in 4 days, but only 43 innings. Probably puts him around 27.
Stop it. Are you cheating?
I'm not.
You're way too good at this.
Is it 27?
25. He's
Oh, okay.
25. Very
There we
well
go.
done. Very
There we
well
go.
done. Yeah,
I'm
he
just
and Gore.
comparing it to the other numbers.
Well, yeah, and that helps,
an
you
answer
know, because
you've given. So I mean,
yeah,
just
Gore had the lower innings. He was 19.
I'm very proud of myself because I really
You
thought
killed it.
I thought it was going to be awful at this.
The only one you didn't really get that close was Rogers because he was a 215.
He was so far. But
all the
in
others,
my head, I actually had a better number. I just went for the meme.
you went for the meme. You did great with these though. So Joe Ryan working his way back, like I said, had a rehab start yesterday, so he is working back from COVID. I don't want to go too hard confirmation bias, man. This is what I expected, so I love him. Let's do some actual analysis. What do you think of Joe Ryan now? I think the reason I loved him so much is I thought he'd come to the league. I thought he was, fully made when he comes to the league at age 25 last year. And so I didn't think there was like any sort of growing pains necessarily. He is who he is. I think he's good from day one. We've seen that. The only issues that he's had is he has a couple high walk games, randomly too. His first start of the season, he walked 4. Then he walked 3 in his next 4 starts combined before walking 5 Astros. And so, like, randomly every once in a while, he'll have a big walk game. Otherwise, Joe Ryan's been excellent. He's cut the home run rate substantially down to 0.6. Is Joe Ryan a legit top 30 starter rest of way?
I think you can make that argument. I don't know that I'm going to have him there. He conveniently, for you conspiracy theorists out there, got sick right as the ball started to change.
Oh, stop. The ball gave him COVID.
I'm just saying, like, Rocco Baldelli was all like, "Hey, MLB is gonna be changing out the ball here, so I'm gonna cough on your cupcake."
Okay? Yeah, are you okay right now?
Yeah,
I'm fine, Skip. No, you're not.
yeah. Because he still gives up a ton of fly balls. That being said, he also doesn't give up hard contact.
True. We're memeing, but this is a fair point. He had a 1-4 homer 9 last year. Joe Ryan lives in the zone, so solo homers can be his issue. And then if he does, if he does have one of those weird spikes where he gives up 3, 4, 5 walks, those could be the disaster games. So far, it hasn't hurt, but he also has a 5% homer to fly ball. So I think you're right. He's going to come back to a different baseball because I think it's changed. Like, this isn't just regression. Like, regression's part of it, and the weather warming up is part of it, but it's just too much offense to not think that they put some different balls out there. So let's push his home run rate up. Where are you getting him then? You said you might not do top 30. You can make a case.
I think he's top 40.
Okay,
I think,
cool. So
he's top 40. Yeah, okay, no, cool. I think he's. I think at this point,
I got no problem with that then.
I think he's top 40. And I mean, here's the thing. Like, yes, his fly ball rate is still high, and that may lead to more home runs now that the ball is moving and it's warmed up. He also has a launch angle of 21.6 degrees, which has been shown this year to actually be somewhat of a detriment to a lot of hitters because the ball's stopping at the warning track as opposed to going over. So, like, maybe he is just, maybe because he gets guys to go up at such an extreme angle, he won't be as hurt as maybe it'd been, would have been in previous years. I think there is potential for him to finish as like a top 20 starter. So I'll play it more conservative because I do think there's regression coming and say that he's probably going to be around 35, 36 for me. But I see the upside of a guy who could be finishing inside the top 20. And I think that he is still not a guy that people are going to go crazy over. So, like, I think he's, especially if the team who has Joe Ryan in your league has a bunch of injuries, like, you might be able to go and get him for an affordable price right now. And I would.
Yeah, no, I agree. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were finishing up your point there.
No, that was the end of my sentence.
Yeah, no, I think you can get him for a pretty fair price, especially if somebody has a deeper rotation. They haven't needed him while he's been out. You say, hey, I'll take this guy off your hands. He's coming back. Let me get a starter. I love Joe Ryan. I think he's good. The ERA will be higher than 2.28 rest of season. I do think he can be under 4, though, even if the homers go up, because he just doesn't walk guys outside of those 2 random blips. He is somebody who keeps the ball in the zone.
Like a 3.40 or 3.30 ERA with like a 1.10 whip.
Yes, exactly where I'm at.
Yeah. And I think that's a top 35 starter.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, you did brilliantly on these guesses.
Thank you.
You really nailed it, figuring out where these guys are. Just a couple other names that are playing well, just people might want to know. Nestor Cortez is 7. Kyle Wright's 8. Tarek Skubal is 9. Martin Perez is 14, which is crazy. Tyler Anderson, even after getting beat up yesterday, is 17th. Eric Lauer's 20th. And believe it or not, Clayton Kershaw is 27.
He was really good before he got hurt.
He was just, he was so freaking brilliant before the injury. 180 ERA, 0.73 whip. So the fact that he only has 30 innings, and he got 4 wins too. 4 out of 5 starts ended up in wins. And so that really helps boost him too. But anyway, bunch of starters there. A lot of thoughts on them. Are you and Jason going this weekend?
I hope so.
Excellent.
So I will double check with him. If he is not able to go, then I will get a replacement for him because next week is Father's Day, so I doubt we will be rolling next weekend.
And apropos of nothing, who are you bidding on this week in your Vegas main, and what dollar value are you giving them?
Let me go see who is available on the waiver wire. I can't imagine I'm bidding on anybody very much. I have $175 left.
You are a broke bitch right now.
Yes, I am absolutely about as broke as you could be. I'm going to be playing dollar days here for a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be making double-digit bids, much less triple-digit bids anytime soon. So,
but for those that don't know and maybe haven't listened, it's because you went on a recent spending spree to really jumpstart the team, and you are in 4th. So, do you feel like that infusion of talent has helped?
I think it has, and I think it will continue to. I felt like I needed to be aggressive, especially with some of the players in our league being so good. Scott Jensen being
nothing gets by anybody in this league.
Yeah,
and that's the case in most mains. But I think this one, maybe I'm just overrating it because it's our league, but
it's a bunch of friends, and
but the degree of difficulty does feel higher than my previous mains, just because
Tanner Bell and Jeff Zimmerman have been really, really good in this league as well, and
Striker
Govier has been good, and so I just don't think it's a league where you can make a lot of mistakes, and I wanted to be aggressive to keep myself in the pack, and I've done that so far. So we'll see kind of how it goes moving forward. My other main, not so much.
Gorman could be your summer game changer. You paid 177 for him on a backup of 145, so a pretty solid type bid there. It's obviously wonderful when you nail it by like $1, but I don't think $32 at that price point. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And you had to get your guy too. And the week before that, I believe, was when you went on your pitching spending spree, and you got a bunch of guys. So I like a lot of the moves that you've done here to really say, hey, I'm putting it on the table. I need these guys, and they can do well for me here. So
what do you feel? Not what do you feel, but O'Neal Cruz is reportedly potentially going to make his debut this weekend.
He's going triple digit if you're going to ask what the price is.
Yeah, he's not available in any of my leagues, but you would go triple digit if he was available in one of yours.
Yes, I think. I'm trying to think if there's an amount of money I would have to like if I'm at 400 or higher, maybe I think I go triple digits in a 15, not in a 12 though. Like he is available in the Beat Paul Sporer, and I'm probably more in like the $70 range. And if somebody wants to go bananas, they can have them.
Okay.
Like who am I cutting? Would you cut Jonathan Scope for him or Max Kepler?
I don't know that I'd cut Kepler, but I would definitely cut Scope.
You would definitely cut Scope, isn't he? He's picking it up lately. We are in the midst of the Scope inning.
But Scope isn't like a special player.
I don't know that O'Neal Cruz is yet either.
How dare you, sir?
I know. I knew that was going to elicit that reaction, but you know what? I got to be honest about it. So over the last, let's find a good arbitrary period here to gas up Scope. Now, over his last 16 games, 288 or 281, 299, still a sub 300 OBP, but 500 slug with a couple homers and 9 extra base hits. It's coming. As somebody who watches the Tigers every day, because I like to punish myself, it's coming. It was coming with Candelario too. I'm kind of bummed that he went on the IL, but they said it's not going to be long. They think it could be the minimum stay. Both of
I
their
just
numbers
worry about an injury like that, like if it's going to reoccur in the way like Tatis's did
for
for
Candelario.
Candelario.
Yeah, because it is like
It's
I
a
said,
dislocation of the shoulder.
exactly. It's supposed to be short, but when it's the subluxation of the shoulder, it can pop back up. So that is always nerve-wracking. But anyway, good luck bidding this week. Not too much luck against me, but I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
You have more money than me. Like, don't
That's
act
true.
like you can't just drop the hammer
Yeah,
on
in
me
this league, I
whenever you
guess
want.
I
Like,
really can't pretend that. I mean,
if
I'm at
if
391 though. I don't want to go crazy.
yeah, but that's still over twice what I have. Like, if I outbid you, that's your own fault.
True. It's
or
because
I
went
just
cautious on something.
something happened and I just went crazy.
I wonder if I forgot
put
that.
Put $11 on everyone and you will outbid me.
I will crush you.
I mean, because I doubt. I can't imagine I'm gonna go more than $10, or I'm gonna go double digits on any.
I know we're competitors, so if you don't want to answer this, fine. But I'm looking. Who the hell's my cut though? I've got Candelario, Kepler, Detmers, Blackburn, Lorenzen, Woodruff, and Poche on the bench. Who am I really cutting there? Detmers? He's got a 3.83 ERA and a 101 whip.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind cutting Detmers.
I mean, he's about the only one I can cut right now.
I mean, if I was you, I would cut this Mookie Beats.
I knew where you were going.
That's the Mookie Beats.
I've been thinking about cutting Mookie because he's just not that good, and I don't know. And the team he's on, Lad or whatever, they're not even like they've done like
or the Ryan Presley.
Definitely want to get rid of him.
Yeah,
again,
he's not even starting.
He doesn't even start, dude.
No. Yeah,
and I can't roster him this long.
Yeah,
I can't roster him this long when he doesn't even start.
Yeah,
and I was thinking about getting rid of this Kyle rigged. I don't know how to say that last name, but it's
you should get rid of all the Kyles. Get rid of those.
Every Kyle I have.
Yeah, okay. Get rid of Schwarber, Gibson, and
rigged.
Yeah, rigged. Yeah.
All right, enough memeing. I'm not cutting any of those guys. You cannot have them. Have a wonderful weekend. We will talk on Tuesday.
Take it easy.